So hi and welcome to our fermenting workshop. I'm Ali Hutchinson, if I've not yet met you, and I'm with the gorgeous Paula from Get Pickled Somerset. And we're going to share with you some incredible recipes that Paula introduced me to a few months ago and are now part of my staple of supporting our gut.
Yeah. Hi guys. So, if I don't know if you joined us a few weeks ago, where we did sauerkraut. What happens is, I think what a lot of people don't realize that once you do this beautiful ferment, is also a great ingredient for a good vehicle for other recipes. There are two aspects of a sauerkraut. I think sometimes when you do, first you have your vegetables, but you're also left with what we call a brine, which is the liquid that usually is covering all your vegetables. And sometimes once you eat all your goodness, you're left with a bit of few jars of brine. This is the brine of my award-winning kimchi. And this is a brine from some carrots I did last summer. And this is a bit kvass, which is basically a tonic, but it's a brine as well. So I love to use that to make to culture, what we call culture, or activate snacks and food, stuff that on your day-to-day life. And even for people who don't like fermentation, they don't even know, but they're getting all that goodness from it as well. I think my to-do and to-go, which Ali said she really loves it, is my seed crackers. I think it's there's my seed crackers, which are gluten free. Yes, and they're super flavorful, and a cultured hummus. So we're going to share with you. I think Ali shared previously the recipes, but we're going to make it together so you have a very good idea of what we do. What are So the ingredients for the seed crackers are really extremely easy. You only need what I say, seeds. You don't even need any other binder. You can use some binders if you don't have. I'll cover that. But I like using a lot of pumpkin seeds because I think they gives a good texture.
Also really rich and fatty, aren't they?
Yes, please. If you want to do
no,
no. But you can do sunflower seeds. I think those are very easy to find. Sunflower seeds. And these are the two seeds that actually give you the binding. They're going to hold together your seed. So you have chia seeds and linseeds or flax seeds that you have broken down. Because that, if you're plant-based, you probably use linseed or flaxseed eggs for cooking, and so this is what is going to bind all your crackers together. You can also add any other seeds you have. So in this case, I have some hemp seeds and some sesame seeds. But you can, if you have.
So I've done the same. Yeah, I've done in mine, and I mixed mine before I came. So I've done sunflower and pumpkin. I've done sesame and chia, and then also I had something else. No, I think that, and linseed. Yeah. So I've got a similar mix. Interestingly, I looked at hemp seeds. Hemp seeds are really good for us, particularly as women, because they're full of omegas. So omega 3s and 6s, but high on the omega 3s. And I thought about hemp seeds, but then I didn't know. So that's nice that Paula said yes, definitely to add them. And why Paula's doing that? I've also got the Healy on. So I've got the Mag Healy, which is the Healy that changes the atmosphere for us. And I've got it on kitchen today. So as we're cooking, I like to put kitchen on. So it's just infusing those beautiful energies into all the food we're making. And if you think of like the beautiful food movie Chocolat, where she's cooking and she's literally praying over the chocolate and she's infusing it with those sort of beautiful qualities, so that she says to people in the movie, oh, this is your favorite, and she knows that that's got all those beautiful energies in it. That's what the Healy's doing. It's adding that sort of extra dimension fermentation into your cooking so that you can actually use it in the pantry to cleanse your ingredients. You can use it for food cleansing. There's some water programs, so you could put it over your brine and actually just send frequencies into your brine as well. So yeah, really interesting. So then I wondered about hemp seeds, so I didn't add hemp seeds to mine. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think you can add any other seeds. I was going to bring it, I forgot to bring it out. I collect wild seeds. So if you have nettle seeds, are great. Nettle seeds, dock leaf seeds, because they are same family as buckwheat. So exactly, you can play around. So having that, this is a recipe, and as I said, I'm going to be free flowing here because this is once you start making it, and that's why we share the recipe. Nowadays, I think it's been about 10 years since I have made the recipe.
Yeah.
I think you just used to do, like you can see on the pots that this I have most of the a big pot of pumpkin seeds because they help you give body to the cracker because they're gonna bind. So you just mix them all up. We're gonna mix them all up here. And then we're gonna cover the brines. That's what I said. Brine, like we said, the brine of any fermented foods have all the goodness in that. So you have two choices when we're gonna cook, and we're gonna cover that because of course any cooking over 40 degrees will kill the gut bacteria, but you still have all the nice vitamins and minerals that come from your brine. They have that there, and also all the lovely flavors. What you can do. So in this case, I like.
So this is your award-winning kimchi.
Award-winning kimchi.
Yeah. So we love your award-winning kimchi.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we were gonna add it. It's about, so you can see, like about a cup. And if you don't have any brine, that's not fret. What you just substitute, that's what I got it there, a bit of warm water. And I'll just do it so you can see. And what you can do, you say, look, Paula, my kraut didn't give me enough brine. You know what you can do? Just put a big spoonful of your sauerkraut in it.
Oh, directly in. You
don't have to. You can cut it up, but you see that this one is very, I don't know if you can see, it's very finely chopped. It's very finely chopped. Sometimes, so if you have a kimchi that is quite chunky, maybe then you slice it up. Slice it up. But you can do, and sometimes you say, oh, actually I have just a little bit of leftover of kraut from my jar. Don't know what to do with it. Not feel like eating it. And this is also going to give you the seasoning. I think what we do now, I'm going to show you here. If you don't have any kraut or any kimchi or any brine, you can just put water, add water, what I would say, add water, and then you add your seasoning. Then you can season with salt and pepper. This has seasoning enough that I'm not going to add anything else.
I'm going to say that's going to have all the flavors from your kraut. It's going to have all the flavors from your pickle juice.
Yes.
It probably doesn't need, it's going to be salty enough.
They're salty enough. You can try it because these are just seeds. But what we're going to do now, Annie and I are going to crack into one that we made earlier. Yeah.
Happy to. I'm always happy to come and eat.
But what happens is, if you ever cooked with chia or did chia puddings or flaxseeds, you know you have to let it rest now. So while it rests to thicken up, because this is going to become a gloopy mix, that we're going to then put it on the, that's all. This is all that needs to be done with it. I'm only extending by doing their hummus now. Because
this is done.
This is done. So,
and you let it go gloopy in the bowl before you spread it out.
Spread it out, because it's easier to handle. Yeah. So let's leave this here for a couple of minutes while we're doing the hummus. So, I'm sorry, I'm with the chopping. As I was saying, the other bit that goes really well with the crackers, or not with the crackers, is your culture, what I call a cultured hummus. That means it has a fermented element with it. And the fermented element, we're going to allow that bacteria to take over on your hummus. So it's going to have all the good bacteria that you have into it. You can buy a hummus and just put some brine in it, but if you want to do,
yeah, like if you're short of time,
if you're short of time, if you have a hummus of your choice, and you say, Paula, I'm not going to do that. By adding the brine, the same brine, to that hummus, you're making it culture. So this is a good tip. But if you like yourself, like myself, like to make it some, you have two ways. You know, if hummus traditionally is made with chickpeas, although you can use other beans, but like I'm doing the traditional way. And if you are plant-based, I think one of the important things when you're using pulses, and if you're plant-based, you will know it, is they need to soak your pulses and your legumes. Yeah. Because then you get rid of the anti-nutrients, the phytic acid, which is that stuff that is actually protecting, because this is a seed and it needs to sprout. So this phytic acid is there to not allow those nutrients to be accessed by anyone else but the sprout. So you can do two things: by fermentation, by sprouting, or by soaking, you get rid of the phytic acid. So if you have your very own, these are some hot methods, British ones, but if you don't have that time as well, you still want to do it, I'd suggest, I even brought some pan chickpeas, which is fair enough. You think, you have to make it work for your pocket and for your life. But if you can afford, and if you have some time, I would suggest getting some on those jar chickpeas. And Bold Bean and Co., which is a British-based company, there's a really good one. And I actually know they are delicious. They're very tasty on their own.
And look at the size. And these haven't been cooked yet, have they?
No.
But they've been soaked, look, because these are soft.
Yeah.
And you see the difference when they come closer. In the size of the dried, reconstituted chickpea, and these look completely different size. Yeah.
So it is something. If it's a bit of special, you want to make something special, and they're a bit softer than the canned ones as well. And like Ellie and I were just eating them, and they are, and they're pretty delicious. They're pretty delicious.
Interestingly, when we were in Jordan, not last year, the year before, for Olivia, when Olivia lived over there were all these things at the side of the road, like big long vines with pods on them. And I was like, what are they? And none of us had any idea. And Olivia was speaking Arabic, so she was trying to explain, we didn't know what they were. And the lady said, oh, just pop them open and see. We literally popped these pods open, and they were chickpeas. And they grow just like peas do. Beans here. But of course, we don't grow chickpeas in the UK. I don't know, can you grow chickpeas?
Yeah, well, so hot methods is this is the first batch they had of British.
Yeah.
So you can see they're not as big as these ones. They're from Spain. But what is interesting is that Bold Bean and Co., if you don't follow them, they've been doing great work. They're female-based. They're a UK company led by this really young lady called Amelia. Amazing.
And it's International Women's Day.
And International Women's Day. So women supporting women by women. And actually, they had a little video the other day where they were at the factory in Spain, and they were saying how they soak their chickpeas before cooking. So you know that they're doing that as well. So that's an added benefit. But going back to, so this is a recipe that is being shared to me by a really good Middle Eastern friend. And because I tried to do, for many years, I tried to do hummus and it never really came out. Didn't really work out. And I realized why is that I always try to put olive oil. No olive oil. No. Yeah. So what do you want to do in your hummus? You see like this one, and if you see, it's nice and smooth and creamy. Yeah. It's this lovely texture. Is you have your chickpeas. What I would suggest, if you this jar, it gives you quite a lot. So you can do 1 cup if you don't know the numbers. I forgot the blades. Yes, just a little detail. Yeah. Just 1 second.
And if you're looking at hummus, then one of the things that we discovered recently, in fact, post Olivia being in Jordan, is it's really interesting where hummus is made, and then those companies that hummus supports. So we've done a lot of research into companies and hummus, and where they're then sourcing, particularly with what's going on in Palestine at the moment, and Gaza. And if you feel strongly that you want to be supporting peace in those areas, it's worth looking at companies and seeing where their politics lie around hummus, which you would never have thought, would you? I think interested around coffee too, isn't it? And just being able to make that protest that, you know, if you're for peace, pro-peace, and you want to be only supporting companies that are also pro-peace, look at where your hummus is coming from, and yeah, do a bit of research. Yeah.
Well, we're going to do what is going to do, so you have the main two ingredients. So from a hummus perspective is chickpeas and tahina. Tahina being a sesame paste, which is a sesame butter. And this is where really where your flavor is coming from. So again, it's quite nice to invest in good tahina. You have some Middle Eastern shops and companies. The Waitrose one is quite good. Some can be quite bitter. So I would say usually if it comes on a little plastic, I know we don't like plastic, but in a plastic bottle like this, or I have this one that I saw in London, you know, you have some really good Middle Eastern tahina.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the base of your hummus. It's really handy if you have a high-speed processor, because the other third trick of the hummus is blending for a long time. When we suppose that, like when you do the pesto, you just do that emotion. Hummus on the traditional recipe I was given is keeps on the blender for 5 minutes. I don't keep that as long, because that gets all the air in. Yeah. It's like when you're beating a cake.
Yeah,
you
know, you're almost aerating it.
Aerating it, you're emulsifying that lightness, that really good lightness. So I'll have that. I'll have here the tahina. I would say for 1 cup of chickpeas, you want to have like almost half a cup of tahina. Yeah, well, or if you want to do, just open the new one. I think that's why I got the new one.
Let me see.
Well, it's going to be used one way or the other. So this is where you have your base of your hummus. You having the tahina and the chickpeas. If you have that, Ali's doing that. Once he's doing that, I can talk about the other. The other good big ingredients is garlic. I quite like garlic. If you do one clove, I can go for 2 because I am a garlic medic.
So good for you, antimicrobial, antibiotic. Yeah.
And the other element is a citrus element. So usually you add lemon juice. In my case, I'm going to substitute the lemon juice for my fermented element. So I'm going to use preserved limes. Okay. You can use preserved lemons, of course. You use preserved limes. I happen to have these preserved limes here, but if you don't have any preserved limes, just you can put a bit of. I usually use the juice of one, but I'm going to put some preserved limes because I got lemony things. But if you don't have a preserved lime, but you want to make it cultured, again, you can just access or join any of those. I think that's enough, honey.
Do you think that's enough?
Yeah,
right.
That's about, that's
half. Yeah. Okay.
So, or if you don't have the, if you don't have, I had a.
No, but I get one.
Yes, well, I thought there was a bit. No, it's fine. I'll do that with the picture from here. It's fine. If you don't have the preserved lemons, you can use your brines. Again, if you like spicy, you can use a kimchi brine. Or if you want to just add a little bit of cream cheese, because like I was talking to Ali, we're going to blitz this. Don't worry. I got it all in. We're going to blitz this quite a lot. So all of it will go. You can put your kimchi, you can put your sauerkraut, you can put your brine. And this is all going to add to that probiotic, prebiotic. And this is really going to be, because this is all raw. Sorry. No. I have like some kimchi brine as well, more brine. I have some fermented chilies, so should we go one fermented chilies?
Yeah.
Yes, just crack
Will
them.
they be like jalapeno?
No, those are finger chilies. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
right. We get
These new fork.
here. Fork. We can just do that. Sorry, more. This chilies have been fermenting since July, so they're
Oh,
really
okay.
nice. Yeah, fermented like green chilies. Pop one in, and to help. And I think what we're going to talk a little bit more. Of course, you're doing stuff for your probiotic, for your gut biome, but we always know that the more varied your plant intake, the best. I find that if you are in the northern continent, or even if you're in the south, I find this is the best time. I know the recipe chef just said about coriander, but I'm giving you a wild twist here. I get nettle tops.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because nettles are a great source of iron, magnesium, and calcium. It has more into it than actually kale and stuff. So, and it has like an earthiness. It adds some really nice twist to it. So in you go. And the good thing is that by I've done it before. By blitzing them, you're getting rid of all the needles.
Yeah.
So basically went to my garden, tick, tick, tick. You know, also it's that time of the year that I have to start getting rid of nettles.
Yeah.
You can then favorite the traditional flavorings in Middle Eastern food. This is like a salt, a bit of pepper, a bit of cumin, and if you have some paprika, but I'm just gonna go with that. I think that I have so many flavors going on with the lemon and the brines and stuff that I'm gonna try my best. So this all goes into a food processor. I'm gonna come out a bit of the. No, I'll just do. So what we tell Ali is that I'm gonna put this on, and I'm gonna put this on in the other room because it's gonna be very loud. While is this on in the other room, Ali might just spread the crackers. What do you want to do? The crackers, I think at this point is quite solid.
Yeah. So
it's quite solid.
Yeah.
So I even use my hands to spread because depending on how thick or how I like them quite thin. So sometimes I just really spread out. You can help with a spoon, and I'm gonna go and blitz this. Oh, here it was. So I'm just gonna do one pulse here because the other blitz thing, what I'm doing is that you want to do a bit of cold water. That's that helps loosening up. So I'm going to start blitzing this, and I'm going to add the water bit by bit. I would love to show you, but it's just too noisy.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to go and explain to you a little bit what we should be doing then.
Yeah. Okay. So what you can see is there's still a little bit of liquid in our crackers, but that's still going to get absorbed. And it's those linseeds that are starting to absorb that, as well as the chia seeds that are in there. So if you've ever made chia pudding, the way chia pudding sort of swells up overnight it's absorbing all that water. It's really great chia pudding if you get dehydrated. And often I mix a tablespoon of chia seeds with a cup of water, put it in the fridge overnight, and if you can bear it, because it is like drinking tadpole frog spawn. Not that I've ever drunk frog spawn, but I imagine that's what it's like. And you drink that in the morning, and it's a really good rehydrator because they release their water into your body much more slowly. So then with these, what you're going to do is you're just going to pour that into your tray that I've put, Paula's put some parchment paper into. And then start to just spread it around the tray so you get a lovely even layer. So depending on how thick or how thin you make it will depend on how long it takes to either dehydrate or cook in the oven on a very low temperature. So I've done both, and I would say the dehydrating in a proper dehydrator, they were much more pliable than these ones. If you look at these ones that Paula's made last night, you can hear them snap. So they're really crispy. And I much prefer them being really crispy. So I think you want to spread it thin enough so that you get that snap. But also for me, that happens when you put them in the oven. So I know Paula's got an Arga, so she puts them in the Arga. For me, I put them in our fan oven, and I just put the oven on the lowest temperature, which I think is about 50 degrees, and I leave them overnight. So I literally put them on as I go to bed and leave them to work their magic. And then in the morning, I've got these beautiful, crispy crackers. Leave them to cool down in the tray, and then you're good to go. And they are great with soups, they're great with cheese, they're really beautiful, with a hummus like we've made today. They're so versatile, you can do them anything with them. So I think I've got that quite even. Paula makes those thinner. I'm just going to use my hands now so that I can feel the different textures and where there might be like a bit of extra layer. And then once you've done that, you could leave that there so it absorbs all that water before you put it in the dehydrator or in the oven, or you can pop that straight in the oven and start cooking it straight away. I say cooking, you're really not cooking, are you?
Yeah, you're just drying them.
Drying them. Yeah.
So just coming back
That's
to
amazing.
it, look, you can see, I don't know if you get to see, it's quite nice and moist. I put a bit of water, then I added some more. I came here, basically, we can try and adjust for flavor. It could get a bit creamier if you have the time.
Oh, yeah, good. Oh, the chili is just coming through. It's not overpowering.
No overpowering.
Yeah.
I will put a bit more salt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for one last blast because I want it really smooth, and then we serve, and then we can open for questions.
Yeah. Brilliant. So that's the crackers done, look, there. And you can see now at this point, look, they are really solid. So ready to go in the oven. And we'll wait for Paula just to do that final blitz and then open up for any questions that you've got. And if you want the recipe, if you haven't had the recipe when you've had the link, just message Paula or I and we'll pass it on to you. Or if you're in our Fresh Year of Freedom, which is where all of these ideas for keeping us healthy in the new year have stemmed from. And we carried on our January Fresh Year of Freedom into March because we had such amazing results with people with it. So if you're in the Fresh Year of Freedom group, either in Facebook or in WhatsApp, you can pick the recipe up there. But if you otherwise, just message one of us and we will share the recipe.
Yes. Well, the recipes, the hummus is on my website. So
brilliant.
Yeah, so
I'll put a link with the YouTube then to Paula's website.
Yes, exactly. And I might actually put the seed crackers because every workshop I do, people like, can I have the seed crackers? But I do have on my Instagram, I share the recipe on my Instagram as well. Okay. Well, a little video, not the full recipe like you have it there.
Yeah.
But yeah. So for the hummus now, it's ready to serve.
Yeah. And this is okay to freeze if you've made a lot of it?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's I was going to say I had this one, actually, that we're looking here. You can see it also has a different color because I always freeze. I have little freezer pots. I do it. It freezes really well. It keeps in the fridge for about a week. But it's, nice and yummy and ready to go. And I think this is where, if you want to do it to keep it nice, then you put your olive oil, and you can put some dukkha or a bit of za'atar on top, and it gets delicious. I hope you really enjoy it.
Lovely. So open it up to Karen and Malu. if you've got any questions, if you just want to take yourself off mute, and ask away about any fermenting things that you've been doing that you've got questions on, or about what we've been making today, what would you say the most common questions you get asked are?
Well, I think a lot of people say that's exactly, well, how long does it last, fermented things? And I think this is exactly one of the reasons why we're doing this. Because fermented things, if you kept it right in the fridge, it doesn't go off. I love there's this author that says fermentation is controlled spoilage. Because that's the thing, we're fostering the good bacteria, not the bad bacteria, but things are going off. However, fermentation, what happens is like, if it's not any mold growing, it's still all right. But what will happen over time, if you made, for instance, a big batch of sauerkraut, and then the one thing you should be doing is if you have too much headspace, you put in a smaller jar. But it might have been in the back of the fridge for 6 months, 4 months. When you look at it again, it's not that appealing.
Yeah.
So why don't you incorporate it into foods? It makes for a great base for a seasoning for that, for a hummus, or even in the case of using in a soup or in a stew, or just using to do that baseline flavor. And also the nutrition, because even if you by cooking you lost your good bacteria, you have that added nutrition, because of course fermentation, what it does is pre-digesting, the bacteria is pre-digesting the vegetables for you, which makes all the nutrition containing them all the more valuable. So that's still there. That's why in Eastern Europe, in China, in Korea, you have lots of ferment-based soups and pierogies and dumplings and pancakes and omelets and stuff, because it is really good for you still. So I think this is why I think even what Ali shared with you earlier, the cashew cheese, that can also go into a cashew cheese, not necessarily just the brine. So this is all things, is not only, don't chuck it. If it's not anything horrendous growing, don't chuck it. Just use it
as for other things.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think for me, one of the questions I get asked a lot as a gut health practitioner is, how do I incorporate these in my diet? And I think, I now would just sit and eat a plate of sauerkraut.
Yeah.
Because I'm quite happy with that. But I know that isn't everyone's bag.
Yeah.
So, like Paula said, adding it on top of a vegetable soup and just changing the flavours and mixing it in as you eat is a really nice way of doing it. You're not heating it. So you're still getting all that good gut bacteria, but you're also eating your soup, putting it into crackers, putting it into your hummus, just other ways you can incorporate it, adding it into a bean stew.
Also, I love it to do it. You know what? So I said sometimes if you have a bit of leftover rice, crack an egg in that, stir it, put a bit of kimchi, you have a stir-fried egg, and a very easy way of doing it. Yeah. Or just adding. So it's a good way of just eating instead of just eating on it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to assume there's no questions. So I'm going to stop the recording. I'll share the video as soon as it's uploaded. But if you need us for anything else, Paula is just an amazing fermenter, and we're so lucky that she's joined our group. And if you're local, you're anywhere near where she's fermenting, and you can get on one of her courses, please go, because they are incredible. And every time I come, I learn something new. So it's just lovely being around that really passionate energy around food.
Thank you, Lani. It's a pleasure. And yes, if you have, I do have a newsletter that I'm always sending out recipes and ideas. If you want to join it, just go to my website, getpickedsomerset.com, and I hope to see you soon. And I'm also always sharing some ferment or pickled ideas on my Instagram. So come on, join me.